Well, guys, I'm going to take you back, a trip back into time. Let's start at 1988, 89. I was 8 years old in 88. And I became a huge New Kids on the Block fan, which I'm saying there was millions, but, I was just one of those millions. And my father loved them too, which was great. We went to several concerts and always listened to their music, and we were able to share that love for their music and their performances together, just as I had always done with him, with his favorites like Elvis and the Beatles and the Doors and all his favorite things that he grew up with. He was doing the same with me, with the New Kids on the Block. Funny thing happened to us once. We were on the line, because back in the day you had to stand in line to buy tickets, on the line at a Ticketmaster location, which was about a block away from the World Trade Center. And it was in a record store, and I want to say that it was A&R Records, or R&R Records, or something like that. And we were standing on the line, waiting for the tickets to go on sale. And the tickets went on sale, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning or so, and we were on the line from like 8 o'clock, whatever. We were probably the fourth people in to buy the tickets. And we bought, back then tickets were fairly cheap. I want to say probably less than $20, maybe $20 a piece. And like I said, we were the first people in there, and so I didn't think anything of it. But it seemed as if these people that were selling the tickets were, like in a rush, trying to get everybody in, get everybody out, whatever. So we get outside. Oh, it was J&R's. It was J&R's record store. J&R's Music. And I remember getting outside the place, and my father looked at me, and I was like, what? And he was like, you're not going to believe this. And I was like, what? He shows me the tickets, and it says first row. And this was for a Giant Stadium concert, the Magic Summer Tour. And I'm like, first row? And he's like, yeah, we got 6 tickets for the first row. And I was like, are you freaking serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, how the hell is that possible? I'm freaking out. We're freaking out. We're jumping up and down and shit. And he's like, I'm going to go back down and I'm going to get 3 more tickets. So he goes back down and he ends up coming back. And the tickets were for the 5th or 6th row. But still, whatever. Thousands and thousands of tickets and shit. And we end up getting front row seats. And I was beside myself. I was literally standing there crying because I was so excited. And come to find out later on that the people who were working there ended up pulling tickets before they actually went on sale. And So they had pulled like all these good fucking tickets, which is illegal. Now, I don't know if it was just fucking shit luck, okay? But like, whatever. We were meant to get those tickets. I always said we were meant to get those tickets, whatever, you know. And the next thing we know, we're standing there. The next thing we know, the cops are there. All right? Now, we're like, we better get the fuck out of here before they fucking confiscate the ticket. So we ran. Me and my father are running up the block. We get on the fucking train at Bowling Green. And if you're from Manhattan, you'll know where Bowling Green is. That's like right downtown. Where you get the ferry and all of that. You're like at the very, very tip of Manhattan. And we're on our way home and we're like flipping out. So excited. So we get home and we tell my mother what happened, and she's so excited. She's freaking out. So I'm telling my brothers, they're freaking out. We're all fucking freaking out. We're like, holy shit. We got fucking front row seats. We were so excited. And, so I ended up, my brother surprised me with an airbrushed dungaree jacket. Back then, graffiti and airbrushing on clothes was really, really popular. And they ended up surprising me with an airbrushed jacket with Danny Wood on the back. And like it's saying the New Kids on it and everything, and they put like buttons on it for me and everything. And I was just like so friggin' stoked about it. I mean, the jacket was amazing. It was actually done by a very, very famous graffiti artist. His name is Scene. He now has a studio in London, and does private works. But he did open a tattoo parlor, which was called Big Joe's. I think, no, it wasn't Big Joe's. It was Scene. Big Joe's was another one. Never mind. Skip that. It was Scene and Sons. And he did tattoos. And my brothers all got like their first tattoos by him, and he doing the airbrush thing, so they had my jacket made by him. So I ended up getting the jacket, and I bought a pair of LA Gears. Yes, people, LA Gears were the thing back then. And the airbrush jacket was a lime neon green and like a neon pink. So I ended up getting white LA Gears with neon green and neon pink on the sides to match the jacket perfectly, like they were meant to be together. So the day came. It was July 20th, I believe. It was either 20th or the 21st of 1990. And this was actually the third time I got to see them in concert. And we're in the front row, and, you know, we're enjoying ourselves at concert. I'm like so stoked, unbelievably stoked about it. I was like still in shock, that we were in the front row. Like, that was like a dream come true for any New Kids on the Block fan to be that close. And toward the end of the concert, I told my father I'm really hot, and I took my jacket off and he put it on. And a few minutes later, whatever, I'm into the concert and shit, and all of a sudden I see my jacket being thrown from where I was sitting up to Danny Wood of the New Kids on the Block. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, you just gave my jacket. I was like freaking out that he gave my jacket away. Like, I loved that jacket more than anything. And I'm like, you gave my jacket away. And as soon as he threw the jacket up there, Danny put it on. And he started performing with the jacket on. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, I'm freaking out. And he came down, like, to the lower stage, and my father lifted me up, and the security guards lifted me up, and he gave me a kiss, and he said, thank you for the jacket. And when I tell you that I was drop dead, okay, this was like a dream come true, okay? And I had brought him roses, so I gave him the roses, and he had the jacket on. It was fucking amazing. And I have pictures of all of this somewhere, like the pictures of him getting the jacket, putting it on, whatever. Then I see my father take his shirt off and throw it to Donnie Wahlberg of the New Kids on the Block. And I'm like, he's really starting to lose his fucking mind. He was wearing a black t-shirt with Elvis Presley on it. And Elvis Presley was wearing a gold, really gold metallic suit on. So the shirt was like really, attention drawing. And Donnie puts the fucking shirt on. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, Donnie's got my father's shirt on. Danny got my fucking jacket on. And my brothers are, like, in the 6th row. Freaking the fuck out watching this. Because they know that it's my father's shirt. And they know it's my jacket. So we're all fucking flipping out. They're running to the front row like, holy fucking shit. And they're running back to their fucking seats. And it was, like, complete chaos. So, anyway. Let's just say that night was, like, one of the best nights of my life. And I'll never, ever forget it. So all these years, I know that there have been concerts and cruises, and I always end up finding out too late, or when I find out, I don't have the money to buy the tickets, because tickets are so expensive these days. They're not cheap anymore. If you get any kind of a good seat, you're paying almost sometimes $1,000. And I'm an average person. I don't have that kind of money. My family doesn't have that kind of money. So there's been so many concerts over the years that I could never go to, and I'd be so fucking bummed. And the New Kids on the Block cruises, every time they would have one, I'd end up, finding out after the fact that all the fucking shit was sold out, and then I'd forget about it till the next year until it was sold out again. So, like, I kept screwing myself by not keeping up with this whole thing. Like, there's plenty of people who, plenty of women and people in general who have been following them around for the last 30 years. And it's not like I wasn't following them. I always was listening for them and getting an album if they put it out. And, I was always there, but I was kind of like in the background. And every time a concert would come up, I'd be bummed. And I'd be like, shit, either I didn't have the money, or I'd find out too late, or whatever, And, a couple of weeks ago, my brother sends me a picture that it's the 30th anniversary of Hanging Tough. And I'm like, damn, they're going to be at the Apollo. So once I realized that they were going to be at the Apollo, I went to look for the tickets. They were already sold out, of course. So I'm like totally fucking bummed. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. And I really wanted to be there. And then I found out that the cruise is in a couple of weeks as well. So I went to look for that, and that was also sold out. And it was like, damn, shit. Like, I can't get to the Apollo. I can't get on the cruise. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, it just sucks. And, so I end up looking online and looking at all these girls that go on the cruise every year, and like they know them personally, and they had taken pictures with them, and they're like every cruise, every concert, and I'm like, damn, these people got all this money to go to every cruise and every concert and shit. Like, I don't. I wish I did, but I don't, you know? And so I end up seeing if Danny had an Instagram page. So I seen that he had an Instagram page, and I took a chance. I sent him a message, and he answered me. So like now I'm freaked out because I'm like, holy shit, he actually answered me. I wasn't expecting that. So I started telling him about the Giant Stadium concert and how my father threw him the jacket and how he threw Donnie the t-shirt, and then we ended up seeing Joe wearing the t-shirt in a pay-per-view concert. It was just crazy. So much shit was going on. And I also forgot to mention that back in the day, my brother ended up talking to a girl who knew Danny, and she ended up getting Danny to call me on the phone. And I wasted about 15 minutes on the phone saying, get the fuck out of here, because I didn't believe it was him. So basically, he called me on the phone. I wasted all that time, and by the time I realized it was him, he had to get off the phone. But he said, thank you for the jacket and whatever. And I knew it was him, and I was like, freak the fuck out. So here I am, 30 years, almost 30 years, 30 years later, okay? Telling Danny the story. Like, you know, my father threw you an airbrush jacket, and you put it on and you wore it for the whole concert and everything. And I was telling him about the phone call and how my brother knew the same chick, and he called me and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm thinking he's going to be like, oh my God, holy shit. Like, yeah, I remember that jacket. Yeah, I still have it. Because it was like one of those things that like were so nice that I really thought that he would hang on to something like that. But turns out he says, I don't remember much from back then. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he totally did not remember the jacket. Didn't remember putting the jacket on. Didn't remember the phone call. So all these years, I was like holding on to this like the Holy Grail. Like one day this was going to be my, I don't know, like my connection to him. Like he was going to remember, you know. And when he didn't remember, I was like, it sounds stupid, but I was like heartbroken. And I really thought that he was going to remember it. And I really thought that he was going to be like, yeah, I remember that, and I still have it, and whatever. And he basically, like, didn't remember anything. So I'm telling him, like, yeah, I got pictures of you in it. I'm going to send you a picture of the jacket. Maybe that'll refresh your memory. So I sent him the pictures of the jacket, and he says, no, I don't. He's like, I don't remember a lot from back then. And in my head, I'm like, damn, that was like the time of your life. Like, that was like when they were like the biggest. Like, how could you not remember that? And, you know, I was really hurt. And I really, like, it's stupid because I really shouldn't have been. Because you know what? When you're a celebrity, you get so much shit from so many different people that it's just like, you know what? Whatever. And I guess because I'm not a celebrity, and if somebody had given me something like that, like it really would have meant something to me, I would have hung on to it. But he didn't, and he didn't remember it. So, needless to say, I was like heartbroken, and I'm like, my dreams were just shattered. like, in front of my face, 30 years worth of hoping that one day I would tell him about it and he'd be like, holy shit, that was you. And like, I don't know what I thought. But anyway. So, needless to say, I started talking to him, trying to get to talk to him, make some conversation, was telling him how I found out about the Apollo thing too late, and the cruise thing too late. So, I basically was trying to make contact back and forth, and had sent a message to Joe McIntyre and sent a message to Donnie Wahlberg, sending them pictures of the t-shirt and everything to see if they remembered, but I didn't get any response from them either. So, basically all these years, I actually thought that, like, that was, like, something important to him, but, I'm not going to be mad about it, but I am a little upset. And I guess the way I reacted, he was like, wow, like, the way I said it, I was like, I really thought that would, that meant something, that would mean something to you, but I guess it only meant something to me. But, I should have known that, you know what I mean? But I was also 9 years old. So, in any event, I was trying to get conversation going, maybe get to know him a little bit more now that he's older. I don't know much, so much happened over the years between me and my life and him and his life, and, them as a group and whatever. And, I basically was like, seeing if maybe he would get me tickets to the Apollo show, or, maybe get me on the cruise somehow, or what have you. But, that didn't happen. And I also did several, donations to try to win the cruise, and I didn't. And, today they announced that they're doing their new tour, in 2019, and the tickets go on sale tomorrow. So, once again, yeah, I knew about it earlier, but I don't have the money to buy the tickets. It's a short notice. And there was also another charity thing that Donnie put out to win a trip on the cruise. And I also spent my last $10 trying to win that spot as well. So we'll see how that goes. I have my fingers crossed. But, like I said, I see the same girls on the cruises every year. I see the same girls in pictures with them. So it's like the same people follow them around, been following them around for years. I can't do that, unfortunately. I don't have the financial means, to follow anyone around, let alone I can't even follow myself around half the time. But anyway, it's not because I would want to, but, I'm just not financially, that well off to go from city to city, state to state, following them and going to every concert. And, I would love to do that. When I was younger, I went to every concert that they had in the New York area, of course, because that's where I was from. Now being in PA, they mentioned 3 shows in PA, one in Pittsburgh, one in Hershey, and one in Philly. And there's one in New York, Uniondale, Long Island, I'm assuming. So, I can get to any one of those shows without a problem. So I asked Danny Wood of the New Kids on the Block if he would please get me tickets to one of the shows and maybe some VIP passes, that, me and my father would be thrilled. My father would be so beside himself to be able to go see them again and actually maybe meet them. And, it's not just for me, it's for my family too. We've been such big fans, and we've been so into them and their music since the very, very beginning. And my father's loved them since the beginning. I was actually in a magazine, I think it was a Big Bopper magazine back in the day, explaining the jacket story. And there's me holding up the jacket in the magazine, and saying that we call my father the old kid on the block. Now he's the old kid on the block, but it's just funny. It's funny how many years have gone by and how much has happened over the years, and how 1 second can change your entire feeling about something. And I guess that, I still have hope that maybe one day I'll actually get to meet them, or, take a picture with them, or anything, after so many years have gone by. But it was very heart shattering when he said he didn't remember anything. And yeah, and I still think it's kind of stupid that I feel that way. Like, why should I feel that way? I'm 39 years old. I shouldn't give a shit if he remembered it or not. But I guess I kind of went back to being 9 years old. Like, I went back and kind of felt like I was still that little girl. And seeing him put it on and seeing him run around with it on, I really thought he'd remember something like that. But, I'm sure they did their deal of, drinking and partying and, so it's kind of hard to remember something from 30 years ago. But I thought that he would remember it, but I'm not going to hold it against him. But it did hurt a little bit. And my brother basically said, well, Danny may not remember the jacket, but you'll always be my only little sister, so I'll never forget that. And, that was supposed to make me feel better, but I was just like, yeah, well, I still feel like shit. But in any event, so I asked him if he could get me tickets, if he would be able to get me tickets to the Hershey PA show, and maybe some VIP passes, or just a ticket. I don't even care where the seats are. Like, I'm not even worried about that. I would just love to be able to see them again, and I know my father would be thrilled. It was like a family thing. We did the New Kids as a family. It was always, my parents, my brothers, me, it was always a family outing. So it would be nice to have, to experience that again as an adult. And I hope maybe next year I could actually get on the cruise. I mean, if I have the money and I find out in time. But I just wanted to share that story with you guys. I know it's nothing exciting or important to you guys, but just something I needed to get off my chest and talk about. And no, it doesn't change me being a fan, and it never will. I'll always be a New Kids on the Block fan, because that was the Beatles of my generation, and I still listen to the music, and that won't change. But it just hurts to see the same people on the cruises and the same people at the concerts. And, it would be nice to have, maybe people who can't afford to actually be there, People like me. I'm sure there's plenty of other fans that can't afford to go to these concerts because they're so expensive and can't afford to go on the cruises. And, you know, it would be nice to have some kind of, I don't know, charity. I don't know, a charity concert or a charity giveaway or something that we can be a part of, you know, those of us who can't do what other people are doing, would be wonderful. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that maybe one day, you know, I win the lottery or I fall into some money, so I can go to these concerts and I can go to these cruises and I can hang out with everybody and be down and, you know, all that kind of shit. Because believe me, I know if they met me, they would love me and they'd want me around all the time because I'm just one of those people. But anyway, guys, that's my story. That's my New Kids on the Block story. And I'm going to include pictures of the jacket, and I'm going to include a picture of Joey wearing the Elvis shirt that my father gave Donnie, but it's very blurry because it's actually a screenshot from the pay-per-view concert. I could not find any still pictures of it, so just bear with me with that. And just some other New Kids on the Block pics, because this is a 30-minute long video. I didn't think I was going to talk that long, but whatever. It's my YouTube. I can do what I want. So, Danny, if you're listening, please make a 39-year-old woman's dreams come true. Please get us tickets, and I would love to meet you. I know my father would love to meet you. We're good people. I'm not crazy. Well, yeah, I am crazy, but I'm not, you know, one of those sick psychos, because if I was, you would have met me 1,000 times already, and I'd be one of those people that were on every cruise and every concert and just being completely annoying. And I have not been. So please give me credit for that at least. And that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed my little crazy story and a little trip down memory lane. Well, guys, I'm going to take you back